Hello and welcome back to my F125 modded career mode for round 5 at Monaco. Obviously one of the hardest street circuits obviously in the whole calendar. As you see there, Max Verstappen obviously still leading the championship so far obviously, but from his title rival Oscar Piastri winning out last time out in Imola, a very hard race for us as myself, obviously struggling with the car and pace wise. Hopefully we can see a better result over at Monaco. It's not been my favorite track always. I've always seemed to struggle here, but that's been on the past with it on the control and etc. Hopefully I can find a bit more pace, obviously now being on a wheel and pedals, and a bit more precision obviously to my advantage now. But obviously again we're skipping over practice, we don't need to do that anymore, but we're going straight into qualifying for our first qualifying run, trying to make it as clean as possible. And actually through practice I did feel quite comfortable with it, but now coming through into the first sector obviously with a massive oversteer moment, and now we've crashed into the wall and we've got damage, but we're not stopping there. We're still going to continue trying to finish with the lap. We obviously got a purple sector 2, but obviously on the exit we smack into the wall yet again. So we're having a lot of like rear issues, but not lack of grip. I'm just a little too quick on the throttle because I'm trying to push as much as I can. But going on to our second qualifying lap, because we're not waiting around, because obviously that damage we knew was definitely needs to go again. So we're going to go again while no one is out, trying to get through as well. We have a bit of an oversteer moment obviously on the exit of turn 1. We try and catch that, which we do. Then coming through where we had the broken damage of our front wing on our first lap, we get there nice and cleanly. Then we have on the exit we have a massive oversteer moment. We catch it yet again and we save it. So this is doing a lot of saving so far, a lot of saves, trying to push the car as much as we can, because obviously we're still not used to this car and I'm still learning every time with the wheels. I'm trying to learn as much as I can with the throttle technique and everything. But obviously coming through the final, corner, we get there clean. It's a little bit of a mistake, but obviously we come across the line now, and that's going to be P4, which is really good for us. So again, normally I wouldn't have great pace around it, but I'm definitely starting to learn the track more and more every single time I come out there. A lot of track time helped me out. Now coming on to our final qualifying lap, obviously we've only got 1 minute to go, so we need to try and get this lap as much as we can. Potentially maybe for a top 3 is on the car, because we have the pace right now in this Williams car, but hopefully we can get this right and get it safely around the track without pushing too much, not override the car as much. So obviously you see we did not oversteer on the exit that was on our previous lap, so we're going to gain a lot of time, up to 6/10 now, come through down through the tunnel, out of the tunnel into this awkward little sector that normally is, trying to plant the power safely. But now we have a massive moment, we save it again. So obviously we push this car as much as we can, we lose a few tenths, but now coming through the quick left hander we have a massive moment, and again we slide and we lose the car, and that was our lap done because we have lost all the time of that lap. Charles Leclerc did go fastest, but then Lando Norris steals it on his final lap to take pole ahead of Oscar Piastri. Max Verstappen the title leader in 4th, with Fernando Alonso and myself in P6, which I'm still happy about, but I definitely think I could have been top 4, top 3 potentially, because I've been a quicker. But if you saw Kimi Antonelli all the way in P15, which again in the 3rd best car on the grid, again I know he's a rookie, but in the 3rd best car in the Mercedes seems to be lacking a bit, because he's not had much performance except from his debut where that podium, amazing podium, but ever since he's kind of struggled with points and finding his performance. But as for us, we're not sure what the strategy is really going to be. You see Oscar Piastri on screen obviously getting ready for his race. I'm not sure if it's going to be a 1-stop or a 2-stop from the team. I'm not sure what the tyre wear is going to be, but as you see it's going to be a 2-stop, which is definitely the first 2-stop of the season, which definitely make things a little different. You could potentially go with a 1-stop, but I decided to go with a 2-stop because I'm not sure, because obviously I've had some issues with the tyre and etc, and I thought definitely go to a medium, but go 1 lap earlier than the initially was said, because I want to get the jump obviously the soft tyre. But obviously we see we mess up our grid positioning, so that means we're further back than we wanted. But now we're getting ready for the Monaco Grand Prix, one of the spectacles of the Formula 1 calendar. But as we go, as lights go out, I was trying to get a decent start. Fernando Alonso, Max Verstappen ahead of us, get a decent start, so we have to try and defend from Russell behind us. And now you see that Alonso covers, so now it's just a single file through turn 1, a little bit of contact in the back of Alonso. We're now trying to get the ERS deployment power past him up the hill, up this very tight hill, barely 2 cars, and now we're trying to go a bit wide, because that invites Alonso down to the inside, and we try and keep it all the way around him. He's still there on our outside. We have to try and defend, try and close the door on him. So now we keep the position ahead of him. Definitely a hard place to overtake. Obviously Monaco is iconic for many reasons, the circuit being hard and difficult, but definitely not easy to overtake at all. But you see we're on the back of Max Verstappen trying to follow him through the swimming pool section into the final section, now trying to keep the car on the road, obviously trying to keep it in any condition. We do not make any contact obviously, but now we're trying to get a run, trying to do a bit of a switchback on him, get the perfect run, trying to set down the inside of Max Verstappen, which we do. We are now past the title leader Max Verstappen, which is definitely a move I would expect him, but the move kind of set up for itself. We're trying to get the plough planted and use all those rear tires and batteries to our effect, and now we're ahead of Max Verstappen. But you see looking further back, we see now Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari all the way back in P18. I've got to know Carlos Sainz qualified P17 in qualifying, which really I can't even stress how in a Ferrari he's there, but you know, it's Ferrari things. As we move on to lap 2, which we now set on to lap 3, we set the quickest lap of the Grand Prix. This is our first ever quickest lap of the Grand Prix. So now chasing down the Prince of Monaco himself, Charles Leclerc, in the Ferrari, as it's obviously his Ferrari teammate is further back. Now he locks up into again that awkward little sector. I was trying to get the power around him as we make him have an awkward tight line, and we try and go all the way around him. Again, we used the ERS to put him into our power and that grip, and we are now past him up into a podium position at one of the hardest Grand Prix, which again, I always struggled at this track in the past, but now we actually have the pace on these tyres that I feel really comfortable with. Where you see that the team actually offered me a different strategy for what I put on earlier, but I didn't want to actually go with that. I want to stick to my strategy because I thought it was definitely the best strategy. I thought I'm extremely quick on these tyres. I felt really comfortable actually coming down. Again, there's awkward sides. I lose the massive back end, always losing too much brake pressure on the rear of my tyres, but I felt really quick and comfortable. I was like one of the quickest guys on circuit, which again I never thought. You see that actually people were making their first pit stops a lap before I am, the next lap which I'm coming in just in now on lap 8. I felt really quick on these mediums. These medium tyres felt absolutely perfect. Like they felt really, really grippy, really good. It just felt like really good. But see, coming to our pit stop, we have a mistake on our pit stop. That's going to cost us dearly. A 4.2 on our pit stop, which is going to cost us hopefully not too much. But you see on the replay, you see whereas Verstappen and Leclerc is going to come racing past us. So now we've lost 2 positions, made those hard moves on both of them, and now we're stuck behind Verstappen and Leclerc. Which again, that was not my fault. That was the team. We're angry. We'd have to try and get back past them because obviously that's something we worked very hard for in the car. And you see, we always set a purple sector 2. Obviously we're on some blistering pace. Again, we're on these medium tyres which I get really felt comfortable with. You see that Oscar Piastri sets the fastest lap a few laps later, and even still those few laps later I still haven't caught and got past the back of Max Verstappen. I'm still with him as we're both catching Leclerc, but actually we're still not having as much pace as I thought. Obviously this new medium tyres, I have a look at Verstappen, but I still can't get past him. Obviously on the lap 12 again, another moment on the final corner. You see a lot of sliding on these tyres, which it wasn't on the first lap, but honestly of those more sliding on the tyres, I come in on the next lap as well do as Leclerc and Verstappen, so we're all coming in for a big pit stop battle of all of us in the Ferrari, Red Bull, and obviously the Williams team. Hopefully my boys can actually make up for the loss obviously at that massive pit stop last time. Obviously this time our pit stop is perfectly fine as Leclerc comes past and we are ahead of Verstappen, so we jump Verstappen in the pit, so definitely one place back we definitely deserve back. So thank you to the team obviously getting that position back on them, and now we're trying to get back on Leclerc. There's a lot of the traffic behind us obviously still haven't pitted for the second pit stop, so everyone seems to be on those. We're doing a 2 stop, so hopefully no one's doing a 1 stop. Obviously if not, this is where we get position is, but I think everyone's making another second pit stop. Obviously later in the lap we're still on the back of Charles Leclerc trying to get past them again. Obviously we're on the soft tyre compared to everyone else who's on medium and hard, but obviously later on that lap 15 we're trying to go all the way around the outside, have a look at him, try and set one move as the 2 ahead of us go in for their second pit stop. We're trying to make a deja vu move like we did on Verstappen on the Leclerc. We make it past him, a bit of argy-bargy on him I know, but there's not a lot of places on the track where I can actually pass, and that felt like my one and only chance to try and get past him. I see that Lando Norris sets the fastest lap. Again, he's actually leading this race so far ahead of Piastri, but we are in a tight battle still with Verstappen, Leclerc and myself still for this last podium position. Obviously we actually put a bit of a second over a gap on the people behind us, but now actually on the next lap with a bit of a slide again. These tyres are starting to feel very worn very quickly, which again is not something I really wanted. You see Norris and Piastri, both of the McLaren boys, out in front with about 20-second gap, which is actually astonishing. You see Verstappen and Leclerc go side by side through the very tight sector 2, which I don't know how they ever make contact or in the wall, but they're both safely through the tunnel sector now, still side by side, still again Verstappen trying to get the edge on Leclerc down the inside. Again, it is very, very awkward sector. Who's going to get ahead? Because Leclerc ran the outside into the inside, obviously, but on the exit, we just haven't get the exit, but he does not, as Leclerc stays ahead. I'm not sure how no one made contact or any broken front wings, but again, these tyres are starting to feel very, very awful. Despite being the soft tyres, I thought there'd be a lot of performance, but compared to the mediums, there is lack of grip. There is no grip at all. There's a lot of sliding going on. I'm losing a lot of time to the people behind us, to Leclerc, so I'm sliding a lot, and I can barely stay on this track because I'm losing and sliding everywhere, and it feels not even barely any grip, which doesn't make any sense at all. With the mediums, I felt there was so much grip, but now on these softs, there is nothing. And I feel like that's down to the car, because my driving style has actually been alright. So obviously with these mediums, I felt absolutely nothing wrong with the tyre. As you see, Leclerc actually right behind me now, coming to the final sector, coming onto the final lap, into the final corner now to try and stay defending us. We have a massive moment now. We bang into the wall, and now Leclerc's ahead of us, and now we've lost all the time. Now Verstappen's ahead of us, now into P5. So now we've lost all that time and a potential podium position, which would be massive for us, especially for our championship fight against the likes of other teams behind us. But this is very, very costly. These soft tyres, I feel like they've gone off the edge, like there's just been a cliff, and it's just gone massively in this last 3 laps. And all that time, all that advantage ahead of Leclerc and Verstappen trying to defend as much as they can with my life with that podium, and now it's gone because them two have gone off in the distance. And you see the Lando wins and come across the line for an amazing Monaco Grand Prix win ahead of his teammate Piastri, but now we're coming through again, which is lack of grip, and there's about 2-second gap ahead of the cars ahead of us. So we have lost so much time on this final lap just alone, trying to bring it home safely, just ahead of George Russell and Nico Hulkenberg, just right behind us. We come across the line as they're almost about to pounce on us with any mistake that we had. But these soft tyres were some of the worst tyres I've ever felt on an F1 game, because the grip went so quickly. In the first 2 laps it was there, but then after then there was so much sliding, so much, it was impossible to drive, and it felt awful. And that mistake, that one going on to the final lap cost me so much. it cost me a podium, but I think that's down to the car and the lack of development with the car, because with the team, not a lot's happened with it. It's not much, because the tyre wear has gone so much quickly, especially with that soft tyre, and that's going to cost me so much. And now I'm annoyed that I didn't get that podium, because I was there for so long, because I had the pace at the start of the race, and now to lose it is so frustrating. But Lando Norris wins from Piastri from Leclerc. But obviously, all the way back down here, Carlos Sainz finishing P17 and Antonelli finishing P18. Them two really struggled in this Grand Prix, not really making much progress as I thought. We're obviously being better and dominant car, but this is a replay of us coming through on that penultimate lap on the final corner, and you see a massive slide. How much of a difference, how big of a slide actually was on those soft tyres. Again, everyone else was on mediums or hards behind us, so actually maybe being on softs, making that call was definitely bad. But normally the soft tyre would be so much performance, and I thought I could maybe defend with a little bit of lack of grip near the end, but obviously the wrong call. Obviously the car wasn't right, but you see that Max Verstappen still leads the championship, with McLaren now leading the constructors quite a dominant way, ahead of Red Bull with 35 points. But now looking more to the development side of our car, I've tried made as much development time as I put so much time into practice, getting all the practice programs done, and I'm still not getting barely any results or progress as much as I want, as a lot of the actual upgrades are still failing quite often. I'm not showing it, but they're failing quite often. You see, we still have the 8th best car, but I'm trying to put as much of my time into the resources, and I feel like I'm not getting anything back, which is really disappointing. And I might have to rethink about maybe staying with the team next year, because if the upgrades and the progression doesn't come, I'm not going to stick around, because this car has been really frustrating this last 2 rounds, especially here, because it's cost me a podium, and I need to look maybe somewhere in other teams. But that's going to be for another time, a different episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed the Monaco Grand Prix. It's been a very hectic one, not as many overtakes, but I think it's still very entertaining despite. But hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.